And now, a message from the office of the President-elect, Molotov Mitchell.
Wow, big, huge bombshell today, guys. This is like Watergate times 10 when it comes to evidence. For all the people out there who've said, there's no voter fraud, there's no evidence of voter fraud, why would we believe there's been all the... Okay, I'm about to show you the video evidence of voter fraud in Fulton County. That's the county that had the water main leak that everybody had to leave. They couldn't keep counting ballots. Well, it turns out they did keep counting. And not only were they counting ballots, they're counting ballots that they had hidden under a table and pulled them out suitcase after suitcase after suitcase, packed to the gills with illegal ballots that they're just counting there when nobody's supposed to be counting ballots at all. It's really incredible how Senator Parent, who was in the room when this evidence was dropped today, just would not believe her eyes. She talks about how the Secretary of State has repeatedly debunked this. It's repeatedly been debunked. And this is the first time this video has ever been shown. It can't possibly be debunked. It was literally shown for the first time right there for Senator Parent. So stick around afterward. We're going to talk about that kind of cognitive dissonance and what that means for America. But for now, let's just see the evidence.
So according to the witnesses,
now, the attorney Jackie Pick, when she explains this, she does so a little bit clumsily because she's not an editor, which is totally understandable. She's an attorney. So I'm going to explain this for you just to get through it very quickly, but you can look up the whole thing if you want later on. Most important thing you need to take away is that there was regular ballot counting going on during the day, of course. Then a woman with long blonde braids comes in and tells everybody to get out. Now, there are sworn affidavits from several people that were in this room, poll watchers as well as other people that are explaining all this along the way. As soon as everybody leaves, including the poll watchers who are making sure that everything is on the up and up, as soon as they're gone, the people come back. The woman with the braids and her crew come back, and they go underneath a table that's been there the whole time in the middle of the room, a black table, and underneath it they have hidden several rolling suitcases full of ballots, which they proceed to count when they had already rushed everybody out to say, we can't count. And the official story was that there was a burst water main, which interestingly, the Secretary of State, before this video was shown, like an hour or two before, actually said that was greatly exaggerated and it wasn't actually a big problem. And, the crooked Secretary of State came real close to admitting that he did something wrong and he blew it. He could have come clean right there, but now, the video's got him. So anyway, they pull out these suitcases, these briefcases, or rolling suitcases, and they start counting all these ballots illegally when they're not supposed to be counting ballots. They do this for roughly 2 hours, but 5 minutes before the poll watchers can get in there, because there were reports that they were illegally counting these votes. Somehow, somebody tipped them off. The poll watchers come running back, but 5 minutes before they get there, Braids and company throw their jackets on and they hurry out of there and they get out. So when the poll watchers show up, nothing suspicious going on. Now, we would have never known about any of this if we had not had this awesome surveillance security footage. And the only reason we have that footage is because it is an arena where people are often there, by the droves. And so they have these cameras set up, in case somebody slips and falls. They've got, liability insurance and all that, or if there's a fight. And they routinely have to hand this footage over to the authorities to identify what happened. Now, the big question, of course, that comes up is, where did this table come from that had, these rolling suitcases underneath it? And she goes back to the beginning, because these cameras are rolling all day, 24/7. She goes back to the beginning of the day. There is no table there, and sure enough, blonde braids chick shows up, starts setting up the table. Now, and of course, the suitcases are put underneath that later on. So busted, so busted, totally busted. And it's just incontrovertible evidence. This should lock all those people up. They're clearly busted, breaking the law.
So what are these ballots doing there, separate from all the other ballots? And why are they only counting them whenever the place is cleared out with no witnesses?
Pretty damning. 1, 2, 3, 4 camera angles is pretty compelling for me, but apparently video evidence that would hold up in a court of law from 4 cameras just isn't enough for Senator Parent. a Democrat, you might have guessed, who's in the room. This is her reaction to seeing that footage.
Senator Parent.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. We heard from the Secretary of State's office earlier, just a couple hours ago, that they've investigated this repeatedly, that they had a monitor on site the entire time. And frankly, this has been debunked for weeks by our Secretary of State's office.
I doubt he's seen the video.
Evidence, then I think the courts will probably be able to handle this once you present your evidence to them. As I'm aware, there have been about 40 lawsuits dismissed already. And according to the law of the state of Georgia, we do not have the power to submit alternate electors. The provision in the law is quite clear at 21-501F.
Is there a question?
Senator, we'll ask questions. We'll have a time for statements at the conclusion. If we
My question is, since this has been debunked repeatedly, what evidence can you give to us that counters what our elections officials have presented us with only an hour ago?
You just saw it. Your officials need to watch the video.
What about the fact that they say that they had a monitor there the entire time?
I can't speak for them.
Well,
Thank
you.
They did not have the video.
They said they had a monitor the whole time.
You're looking at the room.
There's no Secretary of State.
Then maybe we should invite them back in.
All right. Well, we may need to do that.
Did you mention that Chairman Pitts was there, or you spoke to him about being there during this episode?
I was not there. This is a witness affidavit that says he was there.
Okay.
Almost up until he was one of the last people to leave. Not as late as the witnesses that we have, but he was there.
So he just told us he wasn't there just an hour ago.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the witness affidavits says he's there.
Well, okay. So we heard from.
Senator Brass?
Can I ask one more?
No, ma'am. We need to move on.
Question for Senator Parent. I heard you say several times this has been debunked, but I also just heard that this video just appeared last night. So how could it have been debunked?
Well, my response, not being an expert, is that these very allegations came up right away after the election, almost a month ago, and have been repeatedly discussed by the Secretary of State's office, including everything that we're seeing here.
But is this
And
not
there have been explanations for all of it.
Is this not the first time this video has been shown?
I believe that this is the first time this video has been seen.
And
It is.
And
That's
the news
correct.
media hasn't seen this video or have not?
They have
put it
not,
out? They have not
because
put
I've
it out.
been in contact with counsel for the State Farm Arena, and
It will be today.
Okay, Senator Anderson.
I think that this is a really telling response. I mean, this is really wild. By the way, her body language is a whole other video. I'm just telling you, man, she's just... Senator Parent is not well. This is someone who can literally see video evidence of, say, a man being stabbed to death and then tell you that's impossible. Our governor says that no one's been murdered in Georgia for 1,000 years. And that's literally how she lives her life. She is such a mind-controlled slave that she just worships, and I use the word advisedly, worships in the church of the state. And she can't even believe her own eyes anymore. That's how deep the crazy has gotten. And I really like her buddy, Jen Jordan, over there, who just like, I mean, she knows they're so screwed. And she's just trying to spin. She's thinking, I gotta get out of this. Oh my gosh, what can we do? It's also really cool when you see Jen Jordan talking. Just watch her colleague over here. Look at those crazy eyes. Look at her just scanning, looking, just hoping her friend's gonna say something to get them out of this. Look at that thumb, just clicking away on that pen. She's a wreck. She's a nervous wreck. So I guess she's having a bit of a schism, because she saw something with her eyes and she immediately rejected it, okay? But nobody else in the room did. Nobody else in the room tried to deny what they saw. They had all kinds of other angles about, well, what was the chain of custody? And is there any way that we can check the logs on these machines and all that stuff? I mean, Parent is the only one to just say, no, impossible. The Secretary of State said that's impossible, so it's impossible. At least Jen Jordan is she's angling. She's saying, you know, one of the guys that testified later on, he's suggesting that illegal ballots may have been injected. How do you know that they were illegal? I mean, which is also it's still silly, because you know they're illegal because they literally were brought out from under a table in rolling suitcases. They were hidden, that nobody was allowed. I mean, come on, Jen. It's just very telling to me that there's a section of the Democratic Party, that there's actually a sizable enough chunk of Americans that are so zombified that they truly believe, you know, like Trump is Hitler and anybody who supports him is a Nazi. I mean, let's just ignore the fact that he literally, like, I mean, they have billboards of him like a rock star over in Israel for moving the embassy to Jerusalem. The fact that he's got Jewish kids. I mean, let's just ignore all of that, okay? Because the narrative, the doctrine of the Democratic Church is he's Hitler. So he's Hitler. He's racist. He's Hitler. And that's that. I hope that this helps some of my friends out there who are not conservative. Don't end up like that whack job parent, okay? Senator Parent is gone, man. I mean, she's toast. Pray for her. But believe your eyes, guys. Believe evidence. Guys, it's not believe. It's not believe all women. It's not believe, whatever your believe hashtag is. It's not that. It's believe evidence, okay? Believe facts. That's what it should be. Molotov Mitchell, I love all you guys. I love America, and I can't wait to see what bombshells tick off next, because I'm telling you, this is, man, a lot of people are going to be emboldened by this. This is 2020 ain't done yet, folks. Oh, no, 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 no.